Hi! Hello, 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 hello. This is the second episode of For the Record podcast with Jess. That's me. Short for Jessica. Yeah. How are you doing? How are we doing? How are we feeling? I will just go ahead and say thank you for clicking and checking this out. If you checked out the first episode, I'm immensely grateful. Like 13 views? 13 is a great number. And I'm just really pleased that I made the thing and that people were so supportive of it, especially on Instagram and TikTok. Like, thank you. I really appreciate it. I love love. I love affirmations. I love compliments. Like, thank you. I love support. And it's super cool that people will like, even if you say you check it out and then you don't, like, that's awesome. Because, I don't know, just so, people are so nice, and I was really scared. And I did it even though I was scared. But yeah, it's the second episode. I'm changing it up a little bit. You can see the mic here, because I realized a lot of technical things from the first recording, or the first attempts at recording that first episode, the introduction. It was a little bit all over the place, and I just really want to make improvements as I go along. Yeah, let's see. It's the last day of July, and for this episode, we're going to keep it shorter. Hopefully a nice solid 45 minutes in total, and keep more concise, maybe avoid therapy zone, but I've decided if I go into that like arena of thought, I will label it. One of my friends gave me really good feedback that I should like do timestamps and kind of organize where this little episode goes. It will be helpful for the listener, helpful for me to kind of like look back at what was covered. But yeah, for the second episode, I kind of want to dive into two things. Being able to do a recap on July music news, what hit for me, like I think focusing on two albums that were really like solid, maybe some singles, and just recap that. And then the second part would be recapping my experience at Pitchfork, because it was so cool and fun, and I had a good time. And I have lots to share about that. I did go by myself, and sometimes you go to a festival all by yourself because you're the only one in your friend group that can go, and you don't really, I don't know. I know that other people can do the whole like chatting into a group and being like, hey, can I meet up with anybody there? And I just would rather it happen organically. If I ran into people at the show or at the festival that wanted to talk to me, then I would talk to them back. But more on that in a second. Let's just kind of regroup. Take a deep breath. I will admit that I'm having a bit of a shaky start to the day. It's beautiful out and it's hot. I don't have an AC unit, so I'm getting really sick and tired of being just in the heat and sweltering, and it feels like too late in the summer to do anything about that, to try to get an AC unit. But yeah, beach times have been had. Friend times have been had. Journaling has been done. Reading has been done. Like, water, lots of everything. Just trying to stay hydrated and grounded during an eventful month, an eventful time. It feels like the shared consensus is, what the fuck is happening? Like, not just in personal lives of friends and family, but on a national level. You could argue that things are happening and moving and kind of chaotic. Very excited to see what happens in November. And wow, just to like process all of that stuff. It can be a lot and can be dizzying, so I think that's why grounding, bringing it back. Where are we? The last day of the month? Recovering from some shakiness and admitting that there was shakiness. Not anything bad. We all have a rough day, a rough week, a rough month. Reach out to a friend. I'm going to advocate for mental health. If you are having a rough time, reach out to a friend, or like reach out to a hotline of some sort, or seek out counseling. that's super important to do. Okay, well, I feel like we did our check-in. Some dead air, perhaps? Well, I try to think about how to transition into talking about July music. Okay, I'll just talk about the 2 releases that I want to focus on. 2 albums that came out this month, and I'm going to pull them up on my Spotify and talk about them. I like to do this thing on my Instagram that I started only this year, and I don't think I'm going to be continuing to do it, like, after this year. But, I don't know, we'll see. But I have been, like, trying to pull out 4 albums that I thought were really great that were released each month of the new year. And so far, so good. But for this month, I don't think that I could tell you that there were top 4 albums. I think there were only top 2. And, but sometimes that's what it is, you know? It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. And it's not to say that there wasn't other albums and projects that came out that weren't good, but I needed to hit a certain threshold of, like, resonating with me, and, like, I put it on repeat, or I can't get enough of it, or this is really blowing my mind, in order to put it in a post to categorize it as a top 4 of the month. And I think I only have 2 for this month. There were some honorable mentions, but I think the goal is to kind of keep track of new albums that came out in parallel to how the music industry, like, categorizes albums, and different music news outlets and rating systems categorize these albums, and then just kind of see at the end of the year how similarly our listening tastes were. Yeah, I basically, spoiler alert, I want to do a thing about the Grammys. I want to document the music that's released throughout this year, and then as the Grammys approach and the nominations are out, to kind of, like, make predictions about it, and then to kind of have an episode where we go through the nominations, we go through the different categories, and we can make a predictions list, and then at the end of the Grammys see how well the predicting went, and what we can take away from that experience. And I only want to do that one time. That's kind of the point of the podcast. That was the, like, big spoiler ending thing that I had in mind, was let's just start tracking the music for this year, because it's kind of a crazy year, and let's build it up to the Grammys. And then maybe we'll have our own Grammys. Wait! We could have our own Grammys, and we could do a thing. We could do a thing. It could be nice. Just our own categories, and kind of shout out things that the Grammys may overlook. Okay, ideas. Oh yeah, this month was rough for music. For me, maybe the other people in other listening circles had a lot of, like, nice, new, rich music, but I did not. The people that I follow and the circles that I'm in, it was a little dry. Okay, I can go into the first album here. I'll show you a picture of it. Boom. Big Ideas by Remi Wolf was released in 2024 on July 12th. A few weeks ago, and this album I fucking loved. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 12 tracks and 1 bonus track. And I had never been a fan of Remi Wolf before. My sister was definitely a fan, and I've heard it in her car. She plays it. But I have been a big fan of Muna and the Aces and Hayley Kiyoko, other indie queer scene girls, like indie rock queer scene people. So Remi's name came up a lot. And then her music video that she released earlier this year, Cinderella, I really liked and dug, because she looks similar to me, and that definitely caught my attention. Then, like, the rock influences and her being kind of, like, sexual and unapologetic about it, just being, like, vibrant. She's also the opener for Olivia Rodrigo right now in Europe. That's also that's also the thing that brought me to her. Came into like my focus, and I was like, okay, let me check out this new work, because all the other girls that I like are supporting this person, and they have good taste. So I was ready for this album to come out. The singles were Cinderella. Motorcycle also has a music video with Victoria Justice, and it's super like sensual and nice. It reminds me a bit of Ravina, who I mentioned in the past episode, of like dreamy. And I thought that was cool because Remi's sound isn't just one thing. It's kind of bouncing from rock, like guitar riffs, like crazy percussion, these lyrics that are rich and kind of dripping with like innuendo and playfulness. And then like she's really great at articulating. Like I could understand every fucking word she's saying in this album, and that means so much to me. As a perpetual caption like reader and subtitle needer, sometimes the girls don't enunciate. And sometimes they don't post the lyrics on Spotify, and then I have to go to Safari, open up A to Z lyrics or Genius lyrics. Actually, scratch that. It's never Genius lyrics. It takes way too long to load. If you know, you know. The advertisements slow the shit down. I don't want to read the annotations that other people put. I just want to know what the fuck they're saying. So that could be an improvement, Spotify. I need you to up your subtitles. I need to be able to just read them and not scroll along as the song is playing. But in Remi Wolf's case, in the album Big Ideas, I didn't need to worry about that. I could understand everything that was being said. And yeah, enunciating, punching every word. Very great for me. I think, let me look into my liked songs and I can tell you which ones were the song for me. Okay. Frog Rock, Just a Start, and Turo. Turo is a really popular song. It's about being horny and like just meeting somebody and being really open about what you're looking for from them, not shying away from it, and all the fun that could be had. I like that vibe. It's awesome. And then yeah, just the other songs. This album was really fantastic for me. It's number 2 for July releases. Remi Wolf is a really cool artist. There's so much more that she has done. Like, let's see here. Let's see how many other albums she has. She has another one called Juno that she released in 2021 and the deluxe version in 2022. An album called We Love Dogs in 2021 as well. Lots of singles. We want to read the bio. She is a verified artist. Okay, guess who's back again? Remi's back with a new album. Remi was born... Oh. She's kind of silly. Her biography is silly. She said she was born in 1458 in what is now France, and she is over 500 years old. I'll let you guys read that. I thought it was going to be like an actual thing. No, very jokey. And that's the vibe that she presents on social media too. Like, just living life, being like happy and bold and confident and just not shying away from opportunities and ideas that maybe can be hard for us as individuals, not artists, to express and to explore, but makes sense for this musician to just be out in the open about it, have fun with it, to not take oneself too seriously. I need water. Would highly recommend Big Ideas by Remi Wolf. And then the next album was Charm by Clairo. Oh, I like Clairo. I know Clairo from TikTok way back. I think during pandemic times, the like shutdown times with the Hot Cheetos song. Maybe even before that, but this album couldn't be more different from that past version of her. Even from the album art, I'll show you. Super vintage vibes. I love the coloring, the font. let's see how many tracks are in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 tracks. It's a 38-minute long album. And this is one where I think side A is a little stronger than side B. Yeah, it hit, like, the first few songs really definitely hit for me. And then after Add Up My Love, they're a lot slower. They're a little bit sadder. And the pacing of the album is generally chill, calm. Reminded me of Carole King, the Tapestry album. Maybe even... It did remind me of Jessica Pratt, but Jessica Pratt's not like Jessica Pratt now. Just kind of intimate, cozy, storytelling lyrics, a nod to the past, like nostalgic. One of the singles, I want to say it's Juna, that she performed on a late night show, and she does this mouth trumpet thing where she just closes her mouth and she pretends like it's a trumpet, and that's really fun, and you hear it in here too. It also reminded me of the Beach Boys, and the Beach Boys are important to my lore. I really love like Baroque pop or orchestral pop, where you kind of take instruments from like an orchestra or like classical music and you create these rich kind of like triumphant sounds, and it's a little bit like dun 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 la, like that whole like fanfare, and kind of like it has a royal monarchy kind of sound, but it's a pop song. There is a lot of that influence in Charm. I've watched a few interviews with Clairo talking about what inspired her to make the album, and it does seem pretty obvious that she has like a big soft spot for older music and for older sounds from the 60s and 70s. She is working on an album in dedication to an artist called Margot. Let me look this up. Margot something something, who I also was familiar with, but obviously not that much if I have to look it up. Margot Guryan. 1968 Sunshine Pop Jam. Margot Guryan's career began as a jazz pianist, composer, and arranger inspired by hearing the Beach Boys' God Only Knows. So again, the Beach Boys, all of these sounds and like this era overlapping and brought to a modern take in Clairo's Charm. The name of the album is so cute too. I've actually really liked the album so much that I bought tickets to see her in Chicago, because I really need to hear these songs live. There's something about how they compressed her vocals, and after hearing a few songs and like trying to do research on like what audio and vocal compression even means, and high fidelity and low fidelity, I can break that down. Just how true the sound is. On this microphone, it's probably going to be low fidelity because it's not a great microphone. It's not able to catch all of the sound and airwaves that are coming out of my mouth as well, because its receiver is it's cheap. Like, it's a cheap microphone. So you would argue that that's low fidelity. Something that's as true as to actually being in the room present to hearing it would be high fidelity. Fidelity, we know, is like truth, being true to something, genuine, authentic. Like, when you have fidelity in a relationship, you're true and authentic and you are loyal to them. So it's just moving in accordance to the truth. So that is low fidelity and high fidelity. Those themes come up in songs too. I feel like Taylor Swift has a song called High Fidelity, and there was a show on Hulu called High Fidelity as well. And I think it was inspired by a movie in the 90s called High Fidelity, so I would argue that Clairo's album, for the instrumentation, has high fidelity. Like, that really does kind of steal the show, which works for me as someone who loves hearing different instruments and is a fan of big bands, orchestras, musicality. Like, I hear the sound first before the lyrics. the lyrics come after. I already told you I need captions to understand a song. And I don't think that Clairo does a bad job of singing at all. I think that the equipment or the way that it was produced, in my opinion, the way that I received it, made it difficult to hear her voice. It was a little fuzzy, and maybe they were going for that nostalgic factor. It was a little fuzzy. It was a little sandwiched in between, like, what other, like, parts of the song took over or overwhelmed maybe her vocals. And I'm not the only one that thought so. I use Reddit. Because I get, like, so excited about this music, and I want to know what other people are thinking, but I'm also not going to tell my friends to listen and give, like, I'm not going to assign homework to, like, my friends and people. So Reddit's a really good outlet if you're a music nerd like me and you want to just know what people are thinking about it, and you don't necessarily want to rely on Pitchfork or Rolling Stone or Spin Mag or something. I use Reddit, and I look at the threads, and other people had mentioned that they felt similarly. Of course, there are the diehards who are like, no, you're wrong. Everything's fine and perfect about this album, and you just hate Clairo. I don't hate her. Actually, I loved it. I thought it was wonderful. I've been listening to it on my walks to work. I've been listening to it in the shower. And I bought tickets to the damn show because I want to hear it live. And, like, I really like an intimate show, a cozy show where everyone who goes in is chill. And I definitely think that I'm going to get that with this. Like, I have an expectation that it's going to be a beautiful fall night and, like, swaying, and I think it'll be dope. So, yeah. Can I say anything more positive? I guess in my exploration of those two albums, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, and other music outlets, and their interviews and content helped me get a better understanding of what went behind the development of these projects and these artists, like, kind of getting a better sense of their personality and their brain, and why these maybe works really resonated with me. That was really interesting to do. Because they're not so big. They're not like a Beyonce or Taylor Swift level artist. They're, like, on the up and up. They're equally, like, dope and cool and indie, but not so indie that that people haven't heard of them. And I think that they're taking their sounds to different places because they're getting more comfortable with their place in the music industry and just in their artistry. And they both interviewed each other for a publication. I want to look it up and tell you guys about it, because I thought it was really cute the way that they interviewed each other. Let's see. Aha. Interview Magazine, which you can follow on Instagram, is how I found out about it. But let's see here. It's a pretty dope account. There's lots of different celebrities posted on here. So that's your thing, and you like learning more about certain people, and I don't know, like, I'd recommend it. Oh, here we go. Boom. So they interviewed each other, and then they documented that interview, and they asked really thoughtful questions about what went behind their process and how Clairo's album impacted Remi, and then how Remi impacted Clairo or Claire. And it was just cute. I loved it. I think it's also what helped carve a softer spot for these two albums in a way that other albums that came out this month did not. It's that emotional attachment when you can actually view the artist as a human being and sympathize with them and feel like, oh, we share something. And you're not just like this person. Like, I think that's why we, like, become so attached to musicians and artists and people in general. Like, the more I can empathize with you and the more vulnerable you are and the more you let me into your personal world, I feel trusted and respected that you value my presence in your life. So I'm going to be drawn to that. And it's a time where, like, that's kind of encouraged, that artists break down the fourth wall and interact with their fans and build engagement and have their posses, like, their nations, their crews, their fans, and they give them the names. I guess it's always been a thing, but it's even more so like accessible because of social media and because you can follow an artist and because like content is constantly being made that's getting us closer and closer to like the reality of that person behind like the title of musician. It's time to talk about Pitchfork. Motherfucker. I had to get that out of my system. I'm not deleting that. That was real. That was me. I have this. I figured it would help me stay on track. It helped me at the festival. So I was at Pitchfork. I had requested off from work. I did the payment plan thing because I'm so broke. And just the fact that that's an option is one way that you can make music accessible to people who are lower income. So thank you for that. Yeah, so it had been like an idea in my brain. I wanted to treat myself to something special. And I kind of figured I was going to go by myself. That does not bother me. But what a time. What a good weekend. I really needed the break from work and the break from like just dwelling on the past and feeling grief. My dog passed earlier this month and I'm still feeling sad about it. And, you know, we listen to music often to cope with things that are happening in our lives. And this festival couldn't have come at a better time where I was just feeling really low. Having something to look forward to and to plan and kind of, you know, just get lost in the experience. And I love that I had never been, so I really didn't know what to expect. I had a general idea, but the execution went pretty well. It started on Friday, the 19th of July. Here's the map. It was pretty small. I had been to Lala before. I said that in the first episode. It was like a third of the size of Lala and a third of the commotion and busyness. It was so chill on Friday. It was so chill. It was like so much room in the grass, not huge crowds at the shows. Like the people who were already performing, I think by the time I got there, it was TK. Yeah, TK Maidza. I might pronounce some stuff wrong. I'm sorry. But yeah, I got there at around 4 p.m. on Friday. I was not going to wake up early. And I figured that the other people that I would miss out on would come back to Chicago any other time. Yeah, I think it was before Yeji and after I showed up. I was just like looking at the different art stuff. I had a little bit of spending money. I really wasn't trying to go broke at this festival. But I did buy some CDs from the CHIRP radio booth, and CHIRP is a radio station. They're independent. You can find their music station online, and they're very cool. Supporting local radio stations and people who play music, I think, is really dope. And they were just so friendly and nice when we were just talking about music and talking about expectations for the shows, and then they were talking about events that they host and that they do. It was a good vibe. What were the 3 albums? I found a Slayer CD. I'm tempted to go and grab it, but I don't want this to go too long. I found a Slayer CD with a really cool sleeve, and it like has Slayer like cut out, and it was beautiful and nice shape. I had also gotten a Thelonious Monk and Coltrane, like a CD of a performance they did live at Carnegie Hall, I want to say. Oh, and I got a Donna Summer CD of I'm a Rainbow, which is one of my favorite songs by Donna Summer, but it's one of the like hidden gems. Then I saw Yeji, really great show. I loved the choreography that she did. She really just was super performance artist about it, and it was just so chic and cool. And I was like not too far away from the front row because I was smart and I like went to sit and read a book while I was waiting. Yeah, good show. And then right after I went to go see Sudan Archives, who is an artist that I've really liked for a long time, and she plays the violin. I want to say the violin. It would be really embarrassing if she plays like the viola. I'm pretty sure it's the violin. But yeah, she's this lady that plays and creates like neo folk classical beat, kind of like ding 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 ding. And like her latest album, Natural Brown Prom Queen, was so good. It's got a track that really was popular. It was called Selfish Soul. It reminds me of Santigold and MIA. Yeah, just like dun, 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 like super like, it's just super good. Like, I can't really explain it. Oh yeah, she is an avant-garde violinist, channeling sounds through loop pedals. She has combined left field strains of R&B, hip hop, and experimental electronic music with hypnotic string loops and fiddling style of West Africa. So yeah, that says it better than I could. It's just a really great combination of old and new, and fierce because it is a violin, it's a string instrument, and just taking it to another level. I loved it. It was a really good performance. She was so sexy. Like, she was wearing this like thermal like bodysuit, and just like pretending like the violin was like a bow and arrow or like a knife or a katana, and just gave a hell of a show. I was realizing throughout Pitchfork that I need to stand up for myself and not be behind tall people, because I was behind tall people for this show. And they were like blocking my view of her. I was so close. But I think that we made eye contact, and every time we did, I was just like feeling it. But that was an amazing performance. And I have bought tickets to see her before, but I didn't go because depression. And I'm so glad that I forced myself to do this and to go. And I went home. I recovered. I recuperated. Saturday was a really big day. The July 20th day. That was the hottest motherfucking day. I was dying that day. I left and I got there around 4 o'clock, so I caught the end of... I think I caught the end of Feeble Little Horrors. I definitely saw the show Wednesday, and I was like, this time I camped. And I like just brought my towel and a book, and I was sitting over in between the red and the green stage. No, I was sitting in front of the red stage because I was waiting for Carly. I camped for Carly Rae Jepsen. I had to. I got to see Wednesday. That was a really crazy performance. I don't think that it was what I wanted that day. I didn't necessarily feel like... I don't know, it was there and it was happening, it was being projected on the screen, and I was like, well, I don't necessarily, like, I don't hate this, I just think that the context, it's not the vibe I'm feeling. I'm feeling pop music, and I just want, like, my blonde girl to come here and to sing and dance, and this girl that I've loved since I was in high school. There's something to being able to see somebody that you've heard for years and years and years and years, and can take you back to, like, your youth, to your teenagehood, and to finally be able to see them. So I was in that mindset and not in the Wednesday, but I do appreciate that she was authentic. She did her thing. That band was very, like, emotional and passionate about the sound that they were delivering. And then De La Soul played at the red stage, and that was so fun. I was so excited and into it. Just 80s hip-hop vibes. The older crowd was in front of me. I was I was a bit more back. I was not able to be at the barricade for that. And they just had a good vibe. Everyone was friendly and feeling it. The engagement of the crowd was like, it just took you out of yourself, and you felt like you were part of a group of people, a community. And you could see why, like, hip-hop is, like, being able to participate in the call and response. Yeah, it was awesome. It was cool to, like, we threw our hands up and we were just, like, swaying and vibing along. We were listening to what the DJ was telling us to do. You don't really get that experience nowadays. Like, I haven't been to a show like that, and it was so good for the soul. But it was hot as hell. I was burning. My face was so warm. Yeah. And then after that, I definitely camped close to the barricade. I was reading a book. What? I was reading a book about libraries because I really care about them. And Then Jessie Ware played on the stage, like across from where I was, and I was able to see her performance, a little bit of her, and then like mainly on the screen monitor above our heads. She was so good. Disco, just disco, dancing, good vibes, release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. Colorful kaleidoscope. It was wonderful. I believe that she toured here last year. And it was just a fantastic show, fantastic set. The energy was up, 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 up. And then when she did Do You Believe in Life After Love? Do you believe in life after love? I lost my shit. I was like, I knew it, because I heard that little like ding. And you know when you know a song by the first note, that's one of those songs. And just eruption of joy from everybody who was like up close seeing her show, and then all the way back to us who were waiting for Carly. Like, it was so good. She was so good. I would definitely be checking her out again. So the vibes were really up. And then it was time for Carly. I had to take a break. It was so hot. And I think I like left off at talking about Jessie Ware, and I wanted to give a section to Carly. It was just really cool to see Carly. It was really amazing. I got to stand next to a lot of fans who were really into her, and it was worth camping like the 3 hours. I'm really glad that it wasn't that terrible or crowded, and just her performance was fantastic. It's one of those artists that you grow up with. You really look forward to seeing. You think maybe one day. I already had that chance with Beyonce back when she did her Lemonade tour, but there's a bunch of artists like that I am just a bug. There are a bunch of artists like that I can't, if given the opportunity to go see, I will try to go see them, because it just makes sense in my head. For the most popular songs, I think it's valid to like say that's what attracted me, and that when I hear those songs, I feel really fucking happy and great, and it's like I can escape into like a joyful place, and that's what I wanted, and that's what was delivered in heaps. So, oh yeah, it was fantastic. Like I can just think about it or look at the video and I feel better. I just feel like I'm really glad that I forced myself to go, that I was able to save up my money and enjoy a show, and I felt connected to these other people who were getting their life from Miss Jepsen. Gosh, the choreography was really good. Yeah, it was really worth it. And I think that was the main act that I was looking forward to. I didn't stay for Jamie XX. That's not an artist I really know. And maybe I missed out on a great show, but I wasn't really trying to stay super late. I've already said that. It was just a matter of personal comfort and safety. Yeah, Saturday was great. Fantastic. I didn't melt. Like, I need, like, a Miley. I need to see Dua and Miley. I need to see Sabrina. I need to see Olivia. I need to see Chapel. I'm so sad I'm not going to go to Lala this year. It just wasn't in the cards. It was just really good to watch pop music and to be in the pop vicinity and to almost, like, touch her. Like, the fangirl came out. Gosh. Okay, moving on to Sunday. I got there a little earlier because they were doing interviews with specific artists, and that was my Muna day. I'm a really big fan of Muna. I love their podcast and I love their music, and I just really like those goofballs. So they were doing an interview before at like 3 p.m. in the Austin festival grounds, like tent booth area, and I showed up. I found a nice seat. I sat down. People were talking and chatting. It was very chill. The interview went really well. They just brought their full selves and just answered lots of random questions. We got to talk a little bit about what they're currently working on, and that's the music news, is that Katie Gavin from Muna released her single and a music video for her single and announced that she's going on a tour and also like releasing her personal single album, which is really exciting and cool. I really like Katie. She's so hot, and like, she's just like, I don't know that she's my fave of the group, like my personal fave. Maybe she is. I think she's from Chicagoland area. She's from Winnetka, I think. I think she's from Winnetka, and she's just so cool in the way that she thinks and expresses herself. Like, I definitely vibe with her. And Aftertaste was a really solid single. It was such a good music video that took place in Chicago in an art studio in Wicker Park. So just like sending love to local Chicago things. And we found out that Naomi is going to be in a movie about SNL back in the day, and that they will be portraying a comedian, I believe, or a musician. So that's something to look forward to. They're just really great too. They're very attractive. All three of them are very attractive. And that's also, for me, part of the appeal is just like, I love being able to like thirst and I love being bisexual. Like, I love women and non-binary people, and I just think that people are attractive. And I love being surrounded by other gay people and like lesbians and bisexuals and queers, and we just get to be like thirsty. It's so nice. Like, it's just nice to be like, this is so wholesome that we just get to be gay. And then Josette. Oof. I don't know if I want to be them or just stand next to them, I guess, respectfully, because they have a girlfriend. So they're all just so like But Joe is gonna announce that they had worked with Joe Jonas on a song. And then that's other music news, that Joe Jonas is releasing an album. And he released a single this month too. And I liked it. It was decent. I like his vibes. Just nature boy, sunny boy. I don't know. I grew up. That's like the first concert I went to was Jonas Brothers and Hannah Montana. So I'll be looking forward to that. I don't know. It's like a green flag too when a guy can be like works and supports and uplifts the music and works of women or like non-men. So yeah, it was just a good time. Then I got to see Jessica Pratt at the green stage. It was so hot. It was just so warm, but the nice people, like the Muna Nation was there. They were ready. They were camping. They had their liquid IV and their water bottles, and they were not messing around. But they let me like sneak in front of them to be at the barricade to watch Jessica Pratt's set. And I really enjoyed it. I talked about how that album and her song really resonated for me. Like, it was excellent. Just objectively, I don't think you would find someone who'd listen to it and be like, this is bad music. It may not be their preference, but it was just really solid. And unfortunately, it was hot for the artist too, so she had to wear like a ball cap and just kind of stayed limited, like was playing like and sitting. So getting footage or camera, like a picture, was kind of like, it was what it was. It was really hot that day. But if we're talking high and low fidelity, like, it was high fidelity hearing those vocals live. The songs just, it was like they were a speaker and they were just projecting out that music. I definitely cried because that album tugs at my heartstrings and makes me feel like things are gonna be okay, even though shit has hit the fan. And I don't know, I guess I would attribute it to how crooning her voice is and comforting. Just like, everything is going to be okay. But sometimes it takes a certain delivery for you to really like absorb that message that everything is going to be okay. You are not the worst person in the world. Everybody fucks up. Here is my story and my album telling you that I have fucked up. I have lived a long life. And that stuff is all in the past, and you are not defined by one singular experience. You are the collection of experiences that you traversed through. That's me trying to do that for you. Because I really need that message today. It's so hard to try to not be defined by your lowest moments and every time you fucked up. But you're not just the moments that you fucked up in. In fact, those are not the most accurate representation of who you are and your capabilities. You are just on a journey, and it takes time. So it felt very full circle and therapeutic to hear that said. And she's going to be back in Chicago. I don't know that I can go. I don't know if the tickets have sold out, but that would be an October show as well. Just talking it, the difference between the Carly and the Jessica Pratt, like, multitudes, man. We got multitudes. And then I think I walked around and I kind of said, I'm not going to wait in the sun for Muna. And that's where I fucked up. I regret that I did not stay in my place for Muna. I would have been so close to the stage. I fucked up. But hopefully they'll come back. Like, hopefully I can see Katie at Talia Hall in December. And then hopefully I can just see that group on their own, in their own tour, indoors and not out in the sun and dying. But I did miss them. I missed being near them. I didn't miss the show. I walked around. I don't know what I did. What was I doing? Did I just walk around because it was hot? I went to the Nespresso tent. They were giving out free espresso for everybody, and that was really cool benefit. That I don't know that Lala does that. They give you free coffee, but I waited in a line for a long time, and it was worth it, and it gave me energy. And then I was able to see the Muna show, but not from a great distance. Like, it was like pretty far. It was like the farthest I'd been for any of the shows that I saw. And it was a show that I wanted to be up close and have the same Carly experience, but I didn't get to because I was just too far back. And I just kept trying to shuffle to the front as tall people would leave and other people would leave because I know they were looking for other shows or other acts. But they were so fantastic. It was just so good. The set was so well thought out and performed, and they obviously have a great chemistry and relationship with each other and the other musicians in their band who have been interviewed on the podcast. So it was like, it's just seeing friends make music together and be playful and curious. Like, I don't know. It just was really good to see and witness and observe and be like, yeah, that's what it's all about. Don't take yourself too seriously. And have a little fun with it. Be sexy. It was definitely very sexy. That's like their thing that they like do. They like dance up on each other and shit. And the lyrics in their songs are like embedded with thirsting over people and the thrill of the hunt and the chase of somebody and lusting after somebody. So it was a really fabulous show. They threw the horse into the crowd. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like the thing that they do with a specific song. They have these horses that they throw, and then the horses are bounced around. They're like beach ball horses. And then they played Silk Chiffon at the end. That was the closer. And I left before Alanis Morissette, which I also regret doing. I think I was just like feeling tired and done. But Alanis Morissette brought out Muna to sing with her. I missed it. Sometimes we miss out on the cool shit because we were too tired. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. Like, I still had a really pleasant experience at Pitchfork, and I did it the way that I had to because my energy and because I had to like take care of myself first. But it was a really great weekend, and I definitely think if I had to return to anything, like if I had to make it a tradition, it would probably be Pitchfork. And I really hope the next year I can go with people, because I think that would add to the like fun. It felt like a picnic. It just felt super community and family, but like found family, chosen family. And if they have a lineup like this year's, I would definitely go back. I would even upgrade. I would even do VIP or something so I could leave and hang out and then go back and chill. Yeah, it was just so fucking dope, and it makes me sad that I didn't get tickets for Lala, which is tomorrow. This is gonna be released after the fact because I have to do edits, but Lollapalooza starts tomorrow. And I'm not gonna go. But I will go to Riot. I still have that to look forward to. Yeah, go to the show. Go to the show by yourself. Go to the show by yourself, and then on the last day, all of the vendors and like the brands that I mentioned before are giving out all of their merchandise for free. So I took home 3 boxes of pads from the Kotex people. I got a free bucket hat. I got a free tote bag. I got pins for free. I got a bandana. I got water bottles and just, yeah, I got my merch. I got my free stuff. And yeah, I got to talk to a few people. I met this girl while we were watching Jessica Pratt. And even though it didn't last and we didn't exchange contacts, I think that's also memorable. Sometimes we make a connection that's really sweet and nice and it doesn't last forever, and that is okay. And just being able to strike up a conversation with someone who's not your coworker and not like your classmate, you have no idea. The only thing that you have in common is that you're both watching the show together. You have something in common with a total stranger. That's so cute. So maybe that's something I need to remember, that we still have things to discover in common with other strangers. There's still conversations to have with people. There's still new people around the corner. There's still so many people that we haven't met yet and experiences that we haven't had yet. I'd never been to Pitchfork. I never got to see Carly. This year I got to do both of those things and check them off like a personal bucket list. I'm making the 2nd episode of my podcast even though I'm afraid and I feel like shit. So I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you have a fantastic week, a fabulous week, that you get amazing iced coffees, you get to eat your favorite fast food, you find $5 on the sidewalk. I hope you get a call from somebody that you've been missing, and then it's like you're both like, oh my god, I was just gonna, and then you guys get to like reconnect or whatever. Yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. I have no idea what to talk about. I really don't have a plan for it. I think we did good. Episode 2 in the books. This has been For the Record podcast. This has been For the Record, a podcast with me, Jess. This was the episode. Have a nice day.